So we're in San Francisco, we're on Pacific Ave. Let's talk a little bit about the property we're standing in.
The home is approximately 13,500 square feet, a little under 2/3 of an acre. There is, I believe it's 144 feet of frontage on the street, which is pretty unusual. It was first built in 1894. Having only had 3 owners over the lifetime of this property, we have been able to keep the property intact, and that's why the original nature of the architecture was able to be maintained.
The fact that we're sitting on 3 large parcels, that just gives us an incredible amount of space. So you can, from a number of rooms, walk straight out to level garden, which is a major amenity in San Francisco.
So this is one of the things I think is maybe the most unique about the property is we're hearing the sound of water behind us.
It's probably the only solarium in San Francisco that I'm aware of, especially of this scale. And you've got the indoor-outdoor situation here where you're just looking out to what's the south lawn. The sound that you hear is really the sound of the koi pond. There's some good-sized fish in there, and it's really quite a novelty.
There's an original carriage house that was here from when it was originally built in 1894, and that's been converted into a fun recreation playroom, and that's surrounded by gardens. On the top floor, which has the most significant views, is a large gym, multimedia sort of family room area, and from that they have their own spa.
And there's private parking, which is a big deal in San Francisco.
So they have 4 parking places underneath the house on street frontage, and then there is a long driveway with additional parking which they've used for parties, so you probably could do an additional 12, 14 cars.
And the neighborhood this property is positioned in?
This neighborhood is Pacific Heights. It's a very upscale, lovely neighborhood, close to many schools, shops, cafes, restaurants, public transportation's nearby.
And as far as this property, $30 million, what does your prospective buyer look like?
Prospective buyer in this one is probably going to be a family that has young children, who loves to entertain, home offices, possibly have some staff living with them.
I know the real estate market in San Francisco and the luxury market especially has really been on fire. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, the market's been on fire, I'd say, for the last 2 years for sure. There's just a concentration of high net worth buyers in the city who want to live in certain neighborhoods. As in any big city, I suppose, there's no room to build, so there's a finite amount of real estate. And we find in many situations you've got more than one buyer competing for the same property, which tends to drive the pricing up.